Hi there. I'm guessing that you, like I was, is currently searching for a new laptop to use either at work, in school, or maybe at home. I was scrolling through the different manufacturers' sites, and I was mainly looking for a quite powerful laptop that could last me a good 3 years while not being too expensive. So I found the likes of the IdeaPad 14 with AMD, the HP Envy X360, and yeah, the IdeaPad, it's great, but it's more focused on home use. The Envy, meanwhile, was more expensive, and the version I was looking for in particular was currently out of stock. So when I spotted this ThinkPad with a competitive price tag and top level specs, I was sold. So now I welcome you to this casual review of the brand new Lenovo ThinkPad E14 with AMD Ryzen 4000. And make no mistake, this is not just another variation of the Intel model, but a completely new version, the ThinkPad E14 Generation 2. So it now comes with support for dual channel memory, a backlit keyboard, although optional for some markets, and a second M.2 slot instead of the rather space-eating 2.5-inch cage from before. So that sounds like some steps in the right direction. But before we get into it, we've got to unbox the damn thing. Alright, let's talk build quality. So, it's the cheapest ThinkPad, and that immediately comes with some downsides. But in my opinion, there isn't a lot that I can truly complain about with this device. It's made out of aluminium and ABS plastic, so it feels solid. But with the hinge, you want to make sure you got both hands available, because you can't open this laptop with one hand. And holding a camera at the same time, well, it requires 3 hands. So, this ThinkPad E14 Gen 2 packs the 8-core Ryzen 7 with integrated graphics in it. The screen has very small bezels all around, while the top and bottom one are slightly chunkier. The reason being that up top we've got the web camera with IR, which allows for Windows Hello. Then there's the beloved ThinkPad keyboard, which still feels amazing to type on. The trackpad is unfortunately not very good though, by today's standards that is. Okay, so now we've gotten to know the laptop a bit with some first impressions. But to really get to know it, we need to dive deeper. Let's start with going over the internals. So, we're rocking the AMD Ryzen 7 4700U processor with integrated graphics. That means 8 cores, 8 threads, 2 GHz base clock, up to 4.1 GHz max boost clock, which is quite impressive. We got 8 gigs of RAM, it's DDR4 and is running at 3200 MHz. We've also got one empty SODIMM slot, so you can have up to 24 gigs of RAM in dual channel. Storage-wise, we have the first hard drive, which is a 512 gig PCIe M.2, plus we've got an empty M.2 slot if you want to expand. The battery is a 45 watt hour, so it's a decent size, charged at 65 watts, which allows for 80% in just 1 hour via USB-C. The claimed battery life is 10.7 hours, so I would expect somewhere around 6 or 7. And all of this is running on Windows 10 Pro, so that's nice. And to top it off, we've got the display. So this one is a 14-inch Full HD IPS with anti-glare and a brightness of 250 nits, which is honestly not that great, but it works fine for me. In terms of ports, we've got one USB 3.2 Type-C Generation 1 with the function of power delivery and DisplayPort 1.2. We've also got one USB 3.2 Gen 1, which is always on, and an HDMI 1.4b, and then a combined headphone and microphone jack. On the other side, we got one USB 2.0, a flippy down Ethernet port, and a Kensington lock. Simple as that. Let's move on to everyday usability. Everyday tasks such as browsing Reddit and watching video feel incredibly snappy thanks to the high boost clock of a Ryzen 7 processor. The display gets both bright and dim enough for most environments, except for maybe being outside in direct sunlight. If you feel the urge to furiously type in Notepad, or maybe not, but perhaps compose a document in Word or Google Docs, then I can happily report that this keyboard still is the best on the market for long typing sessions. And then there's the webcam and microphone. And they are less than average, and average by today's standards is still terribly low. So you won't be taking any fancy meetings with this. Setting up the laptop for the first time was rather quick and simple. It was not running a recent version of Windows, meaning some updates were due. But when those are done, you're greeted by the Lenovo wallpaper and a pretty clean install. You've got the likes of Lenovo Vantage and McAfee pre-installed, but not much more. So basically good to go. Moving on to gaming. Even though this laptop isn't made for gaming, the integrated graphics can handle titles like League of Legends, CSGO, and Rocket League by pumping out 60 plus FPS at medium to high settings. In League of Legends, I managed an impressive 87 FPS on pretty high settings. In CSGO, it was also very playable, not as high, but still managing over 70 FPS at 79, so nearly 80. And in Rocket League, well, it's a bit more demanding, but still very playable at its 56 FPS. In Cinebench, we can see that the 8-core Ryzen 7 beats out even desktop CPUs from not that long ago, which is impressive. The only place we haven't looked is inside. It's dead easy to get open, just a couple of screws to undo. Inside, you can see the second M.2 slot, which is a full-size one. Under here, we got the SODIMM slot, and what keeps it cool is the 2 heat pipes compared to the Intel version's 1. And for me, it hasn't got uncomfortably hot, even under load. So now, let's get this thing back in one piece and wrap up this review. To end it all, I want to talk about, is this laptop the one for you? Well, if you want a powerful, well-built machine with an A+ keyboard, then yeah, this is for you. You would honestly be hard-pressed to find another laptop with 0 big compromises. This does it all pretty well, and I see no real reason to go for the ThinkPad T series over this. Neither the IdeaPad 5, maybe the NVX 360 if you value the screen a lot, but otherwise, for this price, it's incredibly good and has my full recommendation. Well done, Lenovo. And thank you so very much for watching this review of the ThinkPad E14. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching this and it helped you out. Stay safe and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.